Welcome back to my second episode from the National. And for those of you, by the way, who don't know what the National is, because some of my YouTube subscribers are card and memorabilia aficionados, and some of you are more focused on the Jewish history. So for those who are not aware, the National happens once a year, late July, and this year it was in Cleveland, and it lasts 5 days. And this is where my YouTube got started. I'm going to do an episode later on YouTubers and that whole part of the National and how I got started on this channel. But it's a just massive space at the convention center in Cleveland. Last year was my first one. It was in Chicago. It's going to be in Chicago for the next few years. Chicago was a better venue. The Cleveland one, although the show was great and the dealers were great, it was a smaller show and there were just a lot of problems with the logistics of it. Still had a great time, but I'll be glad when it goes back to Chicago next year. So when I went this year, I thought, okay, I've got lots of Koufax, lots of Hank Greenberg. Koufax and Greenberg are by far the two biggest icons in Jewish baseball history. They're the only two Jewish players who are in the Hall of Fame, and no, Rod Carew was not Jewish, and he did not convert. So I thought, okay, I'm trying to find some more remote players, so maybe I'll get some Koufax and Greenberg things, but I'm not really going to focus on that. Well, that's kind of impossible because there are so many great memorabilia and card items for Greenberg and Koufax. So in this episode, I'm going to focus on what I got from the National that pertains to those two players. So let's take a look at some of the Greenberg and Koufax cards that I got. I'd say some of them were really good purchases and some great items. Some of them probably were not the best purchases. You're going to get that when you do the National. And so here's a really nice one. So this is the 1939 play ball Hank Greenberg. But there's something a little special about this one. You can see that it says sample on it. So if you look on the back, you can see the stamp. So this was probably a giveaway at some point, trying to promote it with collectors back in 1939. And just a beautiful card, much more difficult to find than the regular. And the PSA SDG count is extremely low on this one in comparison. So that's why I didn't love the original card. I like it. It's a nice card, a nice picture of him, but being the sample, that's what I really wanted. The next one is a pickup that came rather easily. This is the 1960 Bell brand Dodgers card. A nice pickup. This is a nice looking card. The Bell brand just did Dodgers cards, and it's a raw one. It's got a nice black and white background to it. So I like that card too. Just an easy, quick pickup to help round out my Koufax collection. This is a card that is a really nice pickup. I mean, it's a near mint plus for the 59 Koufax. I would say I very much overpaid for this in reflection, but you know what? It's done, and these are the pluses and minuses. In the end, though, I do have a great example of that card. It is still a little off-center, but that card is extremely difficult to find well-centered. This one was not a good purchase. I didn't really do my research. I just kind of found that Koufax card. It's a postcard, and it has just the postcard backing to it. So it wasn't very expensive, to be honest, but it's actually a card that PSA has stopped grading. that set. So it's not a hurtful purchase, and it actually looks pretty nice for my collection. Very nice, simple little card. I traded for this postcard. So I believe for my Pete Rose 1964, I got this and another item and some cash. So that's a nice one. You notice the Roberto Clemente stamp at the top. And so that's the signature from Koufax, and it was done at the Hall of Fame. And of course the Koufax plaque, regular plaque that comes out of the Hall of Fame. So that's also a nice pickup. Probably my best Koufax pickup is this beauty. So this one is really difficult to find in any condition. The count is extremely low on this one. So this is the 1967 Topps Punch-Out Sandy Koufax. I actually got this one on the last day that I was there from the same dealer who gave me that amazing find, the Phil Weintraub, before. I was speaking to him at the end about the Weintraub and asking him if he had anything special for Koufax, and he was able to pull this one out. It wasn't actually on display, it was in the drawer, and that's another beautiful one. Very tough to find in any condition. And the last item that we're going to look at is the 1936 R312. So that is, as you can see, a much larger one. I'm going to try and refocus here a little bit. So the R312 is obviously much larger. What I would like to do, so you notice that it has a grade of 1, and it's great to find a grade of 1 when the problem is on the back. So I believe that the 1 comes because this was glued into an album at some point. So it's wonderful to find cards like that, because the eye appeal, which is the new eye appeal and centering, are the new hot spots for a lot of collectors. The eye appeal on this is great. Pretty well centered, and a tough find, and a great card. So I will have one more Koufax item later, but I'm going to put it into a different video altogether. So thank you for watching and seeing all of the Koufax and Greenberg items that I picked up at the National this year. I have 2 more episodes. The next one, part 3, is going to be my other pickups, and there are some really nice items there. And then the last one is going to be about some of the big trades that I made, and some really exciting new things that I got in the trades. So thanks again for watching this episode of In the Big Inning.